Hi everyone, welcome back to another English with Joseph. Those of you who watched my last video clip will know that we've started on a little series of common mistakes which learners make. One of the most common mistakes which learners make is with regards to their pitch and tone. One of the reasons why British people sometimes are uncomfortable with people of other nationalities is because of the way they use the language. If you want to fit in, it's important to know how to speak. But I don't just mean with words, because I suppose it's relatively easy for anyone to learn vocabulary and grammar, but it's how to use that in a way that you can really connect with someone. The way to do this is by using your facial muscles and by adjusting your pitch and your tone. English people, we are not very expressional. We don't use our bodies a lot to let you know how we feel. In fact, if you've ever been to London and have met any English people, you probably have noticed that we're very stiff, especially if we're on our way to work, because we don't really want to stop. We are very stiff and we have something in mind that we're going to do. We might even be working on the train, on the computer, something like this. But with regards to pitch and tone, we use that more than we use body language to communicate. Okay, so going back to my example, the very stiff people, if you say, "How are you?" an Englishman might say, "Yeah, I'm okay." Well, the word itself is neutral. The word itself tells you he's okay. But yet his facial expression, he didn't really move his body is still stiff. The facial expression and the breath and the pitch and tone, okay, tells you that really he's not okay. So he's giving you two messages. One message is the word, which is neutral. The word is just the word, even though it's a positive word. But the other message doesn't quite fit with that. The other message is telling you there's something not right. And it's these kind of things which English people use to talk to each other, to feel comfortable with each other. If you're working with someone and he says, "Yeah, I'm okay," it's not comfortable to assume that he is okay, because clearly he's not. In fact, there's a warning sign there that he might be angry. Okay? So you need to know how English people use the words. If you ever listen to a news report, you'll notice that the newsreader gives you a message by changing the pitch and tone, assuming, of course, it's an English newscaster. Let me give you an example. 2 people were killed today in an accident in Switzerland. It's like a piece of music. I started on a certain note and I worked my way down. Ba 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 ba. 2 people were killed today in an accident in Switzerland. No British people were said to be involved, which sounds a little bit comforting by the way I used my voice in the last part. No British people were said to be involved. If you've ever studied music, maybe you could look at the comparison between tone and meaning. For example, as you might know, songs which are written in B flat tend to be a little bit more emotional or even a little bit sad compared to other things or other songs. And that's the same with the voice. And we use that a lot to give each other messages. So my point here is, it's not safe to rely on words. So the question is, well, if I don't know all of this, how should I communicate? Well, there is one small thing that you could do, which English people like, and that is you can smile. Russian people, Eastern European people, and maybe some people from other cultures as well, don't smile unless there's a reason to smile. Okay? English people, we smile at each other all the time. We smile to give a safe place to communicate. It's our way of saying, I'm okay, and I'm approaching you to ask you something. Okay? To smile at someone for us is a way of saying, I respect you, and I like you, and I need some help. So I'm approaching you in the only way that I know to make you feel nice. Because if you smile at an English person, he has no choice except to smile back. Of course, if you walk around the town smiling at everyone, you might get a few strange looks. Why is that person smiling at me? But in a small place like a village, for example, where people often greet each other, it's perfectly acceptable. Maybe not in London exactly, with a whole mix of people, but in London generally, to smile and say morning or good morning is considered to be a very nice greeting. I remember one of my very first communication courses that I did when I was a young man, when I was very interested, even back then, in the subject of communication. And the course was called Smile. You're on the telephone. And what it taught me was that to give a good vibration, a good vibe to someone, you simply smile. Hi, can I help? How are you today? And even though that sounds a little bit false, it does lift up the mood. And to be honest, there's a lot of very unhappy people in the UK, and a smile might just make their day a little bit happier. Now, I don't mean you should wander around smiling at everyone, okay? But what I do mean is, as a native speaker, if a non-native speaker smiles at me when they're talking to me, it feels nicer, it feels brighter, and it takes away that very cold sting of robotic speaking. Imagine this. Imagine, hello, can you help me with something? Hello, can you help me with something, please? Okay, I added please in the last part, but it doesn't make a lot of difference. The idea is, if you come from a culture where smiling at each other isn't usually the normal thing, then maybe you should rethink that when you come to England. Okay, let's try something else. Hello, would you mind if I ask you a question? John said you can help me. Hello, would you mind if I asked you a question? John said that you could help me. Now, the second one there is very friendly and it's very approachable, okay? So, even if you don't understand all of this body language and expressions that English people use with words, yeah, I'm okay, well, no, I'm not really, yeah, because you can't really tell if they're being sarcastic or honest with you. Even if you don't understand that, a smile can change everything, because even if you can't read the other person, you're telling the other person how you are. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Definitely, to begin, I would say, until you are aware of this other way of communicating, you should smile more. Words themselves, I think, make up around 50% of the way in which English people communicate. If you take away the expression, or in the case of maybe Spanish or Italian people, the body language, then you're left only with the words, which can be very robotic, as we discussed a moment ago. So, I would really encourage you, as much as you can, to try to get into this habit of changing your pitch in tone, or if you can't, even just smiling to give someone a message. okay, whether it be good or bad. Smiling is something which we like in English culture, and we don't like people who are very serious or who frown because we can't read them and we can't relate to them. It's like talking to a robot. You know, when I was in London last week, I was staying in a hotel. It was a very nice place, very beautiful place actually, but the receptionists didn't smile. They were very nice, they were very efficient. Yes, can I help? Down here. But I felt a little bit like I was entering the army rather than entering a hotel for a few days. If the person had smiled at me, I would have the opportunity then to smile back. And I was aware, even when I was smiling at this receptionist, she wasn't connecting with my smile. In fact, she had a very serious looking face, and I thought, she looks like she's having a rather bad day, you know. But even if she had smiled, despite the bad English, I would have felt more comfortable. And it meant that when I went to ask the receptionist for anything, I thought about it twice. I thought, I don't think I really want to speak to her because she's going to put me in a bad mood because she's so serious. You know, I wanted to say, lighten up, smile, you know. Or if I wanted to be very nasty, I could say, I'm your customer. At least, please, can you smile at me? You know. So that shows how important it is. And not only for me, because I'm a very people person. I like people. And I like to study people's behaviors because of my role in communication. But my point is, you need to connect on some level. You're not able to do that with words yet. So you need another way of making a safe environment. And one way of doing that is simply smiling. And that can take you a long way. Okay, well, I hope that helps. Remember, you can check me out on Facebook, English with Joseph, on Twitter, McTaggartJ7. You can see my Amazon books on my Amazon site. You can check out my blog, which links to everything else, at englishwithjosephblog.wordpress.com. There's probably a lot of links I've forgotten there, but they're all up above anyway in the link at the top of the Daily Motion site. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. And remember, today, if you meet an English person, smile. You might just find that you get a smile back and you have some kind of connection happening, even if it's not by words. Thank you. See you tomorrow.